Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's fascinating webinar organized by Bangladesh Institute of Maritime Research and Development, BIMRAD. We are delighted to see participants joining from different parts of Bangladesh. We'll begin shortly. Kindly keep your microphones muted and cameras off unless you're speaking. Thank you for your cooperation. Dear participants, we're allowing a few more attendees to join this session. We'll begin in a few moments. Thank you for your patience and understanding. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Distinguished guests, respected speakers, participants from home and abroad. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you all. It's my great pleasure to welcome you in today's fascinating webinar on Environment Day 2026 organized by BIMRAD. I am Mohammad Ashikullah and I have the privilege of serving as the Master of Ceremony for today's webinar. On behalf of BIMRAD, I extend my warmest greetings and sincere appreciation to all participants for joining us today. This year's webinar is titled Ocean Research and Ecosystem Restoration for Climate Resilience and a Sustainable Blue Future, a net assessment for Bangladesh. The theme aligns closely with the global observance of World Environment Day 2026, which emphasizes climate action, ecosystem restoration, and nature-based solutions for a sustainable future. As a maritime nation highly vulnerable to climate change, Bangladesh must strengthen ocean research, environmental governance, ecosystem restoration, and sustainable blue economy initiatives. Today's webinar provides an important platform to discuss these critical issues and explore pathways toward greater climate resilience and environmental sustainability. Dear participants, to fully comment today's program, I'd like to invite Afifat Khanum Ritika, Research Fellow BIMRAD, to deliver the welcome address. Madam, the floor is yours.
Respected Director General of BIMRAD, distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, participants, and my dear colleagues. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. It is my great pleasure to warmly welcome you all on today's webinar organized by BIMRAD. BIMRAD is the nation's first maritime think tank that is patronized by Bangladesh Navy. So BIMRAD is the nation's first maritime think tank, and it started its journey in 2018. If I mention that BIMRAD's mission and vision is to be a unique maritime think tank through cutting-edge research. Through its different initiatives like do research, awareness building programs, BIMRAD aims to strengthen scientific knowledge, support policy formulations, enhance collaborations among researchers, policymakers, and stakeholders to secure a sustainable future for our oceans and coastal communities. This webinar aligns with the global theme that is inspired by nature for climate for our future, which clearly emphasize the urgent need for climate actions and economic restoration. Based on the title, we have selected our today's webinar theme, and we are hopeful that we'll get many more opportunities, options, and collaborations through these webinars so that we can go for the sustainable blue economic development. If I see the webinar global theme of this webinar, actually it urges to take actions against climate change and also different types of vulnerability. What is also the main theme of BIMRAD research and collaboration. Our ocean, which is regulated by climate, support the biodiversity and sustainable livelihood, are increasingly threatened by pollution like habitat degradation, unsustainable resource use. And for this, Bangladesh, a climate vulnerable maritime nation, enhancing ocean research and ecosystem restoration is vital for achieving global climate resilience, ensuring food security, and fostering sustainable blue economy. Today, we are privileged to have distinguished experts who will share their insights on ecosystem restoration, marine pollution, climate adaptation, environmental governance, SDG integration, and the impact of these issues on our blue economy. I encourage all participants to actively engage, exchange ideas, and reflect on actionable solutions to strengthen marine and coastal resilience. On behalf of BIMRAD, I extend heartfelt thanks for your participation and hope this session will be productive, enlightening, and inspiring for all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, madam, for your insightful and inspiring webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, today's session will also be moderated by Ahmed Khanam Ritika, Research Fellow BIMRAD. She possesses extensive professional experience in marine fisheries, climate change, coastal livelihoods, environmental sustainability, and maritime research. She previously worked under the Ecofish initiative of World Fish and was awarded the prestigious President Gold Medal for academic excellence from Bangladesh Agricultural University. Currently, she is pursuing her PhD under the BIMSTEC program at BOBP IGO, India, focusing on illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, and is also a recipient of the Australia Fellowship Award 2026. With her strong academic background and international exposure, we are delighted to have her as the moderator of today's webinar.
Thank you, Research Officer Ashik. So he already introduced me. I'm Ritika. I'm the Research Fellow of BIMRAD, and today I will be moderating this speaker session with all of you. We have a distinguished lineup of speakers, and each speaker will get 10 minutes for their presentation. I kindly request all speakers to adhere to the allocated time to ensure a smooth and effective session. So this is time for Dr. Jewel Dash. Before his starting, I would like to explain his biography. Dr. Jewel Dash, professor at the Institute of Marine Sciences, conducts interdisciplinary research at the intersection of marine systems and human societies. Building on his expertise in marine science, his work explores the social biological dimensions of human nature, interactions in coastal and marine environments. His research seeks to strengthen connections between ocean ecosystems and coastal communities by examining issues related to the blue economy, blue growth, and natural resource governance. With a particular focus on small-scale resource users, he investigates ecosystem stewardship, equitable and just transformations, resilience enhancement, and community participation to advance sustainable development in coastal regions of Bangladesh. His presentation title is Just Transformation to Sustainability is Not Just a Transformation, Equity Matters. So I would like to request Dr. Joel Dash to present his presentation. Joel Dash, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ritika. Good morning, everyone. I have some internet issues, that's why I'm keeping my videos off. I want to share my slides. Am I audible to you? I think it's you can hear me. Yep.
Yes, sir. We can hear you. All right.
Thank you. Yeah. So I want to talk about the just transformation and I customize a bit the speaker's view. So yeah, so let me start with a question that how many of us today can confidently actually say that the environment we grew up in the same as the one we live in now. So most of us can, because the change is exactly what we are here today. And the resources are depleting. And I remember that once the summer means the open skies, greener fields, and cleaner air. Today we experience many differences. On this webinar regarding World Environment Day, we are not just discussing problems. We're talking about responsibility, action, and hope. Let's jump to the points what I want to deliver today. So, yeah, so I want to begin with a simple but important idea that environment is actually no longer just something we protect on the side. It is becoming a driver of transformation in how societies grow, how economies function, and how justice is defined. So when we say just transformation, we are talking about deeper than sustainability alone. It means ensuring that the shift toward a greener world, which is fair for communities, fair for developing regions, and fair for future generations. So on this World Environment Day webinar, I will focus on few key themes that shape this transformation. So some ecosystem that, because nature is not separate systems, but one interconnected balance. And climate, because it defines the limits and risks of our shared future. Blue future, actually, because oceans are central to life, food, and global stability. And finally, the sustainability, because this is not a goal anymore. It is necessary for our survival. So, and then, now when we talk about just transformation, the question naturally becomes like, why does it matter so much? Let's bring this closer to the home. Like it's in a country like Bangladesh, especially in our coastal regions, climate change is not a future scenario, it is already happening. And you know the consequences of some of the natural calamities like cyclones, floods, storm surges, that actually disrupt our lives in every hours. So, and we see the sea level rise slowly reshaping coastlines and threatening entire communities with displacement and migration. So the impact is not only physical, we are also witnessing the declining biodiversity ecosystems. That's one supported fisheries, agriculture, livelihoods, and which is under stress now. And alongside this, the pollution is a big issue now because plastic waste in rivers and seas and heavy metals entering in our food chains, quietly affecting both environment and human health. And importantly, this is not about only the nature, it's about the people. So millions of people depending on this ecosystem for their livelihoods, fishing, farming, coastal trades. So changes a lot. And even knowledge, which is actually itself becoming a resource at risk, because sometimes marine genetic resources and emerging concerns like digital biopiracy, which actually biological knowledge, which are extracted without fairness and consent. So now that what we have seen, why this matter, let's define what it actually means by just transformation. It's about an inclusive sustainability transition. That means advances the ecological resilience. What I mean about ecological resilience means nature and ecosystem are able to recover, adapt, and sustain life. It's about social equity, meaning the benefits and burdens are shared due to the environmental change and about the shared prosperity. That means that the development and environment protection move forward together, not against each other. So in a sense, just transformation is not about only the protecting environment, it's about making sure that no one is left behind in this process. And if we see the idea behind the just transformation or blue transformation, if we see our coastal areas, the extended coastal areas, we can see that our coast is interlinked in many ways. In the southern eastern part, you can see that the development projects are happening in Moiskali in terms of blue growth or the investment or the economic development. In the middle coast, you can see that all industries like shipwrecking, and also you saw that in the southwestern part, there are some conservation issues like MPS. Also, you heard that a couple of days ago, there are new 2 MPS. In the middle coast, you can see the Solenpur is a new MPA. And also in Kuakata, there are new MPS. So when you talk about the blue economy or blue transformation, we are referring to how we use the coast and coastal resources that should be sustainable, inclusive, and future-oriented. So now, if we talk about blue transformation a step further, we also have an important question: transformation for whom? So that brings the idea of blue equity actually. So it becomes central. When you are ensuring blue equity, it means that fairness in ocean and coastal resources are accessed, used, and protected. But in reality, these pathways are not always equal for everyone or for every stakeholders. They are both equitable pathways where benefits are shared fairly, and inequitable pathways where some groups benefit more while others bear the cost. So to understand this better, we divide it, there are some 6 aspects, which are actually the regional and recognitional equity, which talks about individual people's group rights, tenures, values, knowledge, and livelihoods. Procedural equity, which actually the inclusive participation in decision making. Distributional equity, that means the fair distribution of benefits and burdens. Management, this is the local leadership and involvement in management initiatives. Environmental equity, which is very crucial for today's webinar, the quality of environment benefit to ecological and economic, human health. And the contextual equity, social, economic, and political conditions affecting wealth, power, and capabilities. So we go a bit further, so how these transformations are challenged. So now, building on blue equity, we move a bit broader idea like blue justice. That's actually about fairness in access and distribution. And it asks whether the entire system is morally and socially fair for every stakeholder. So blue justice is about ensuring the ocean and coastal governance does not just function efficiently, but functions ethically. It is about recognizing historical inequalities, current vulnerabilities, and future responsibilities all at once. So ultimately, blue justice reminds us that sustainability is not only a scientific goal anymore, it is a question of fairness, rights, and responsibility. So these things are happening like displacement, dispossession, and degradation are happening due to the coastal development or mega projects. Even sometimes the dispossession is happening due to the conservation initiative. So altogether, it's bringing the blue justice in the center. And we go a bit particular, even further, than ocean justice. So if blue justice focuses on fairness in coastal and marine system, ocean justice expands the lens to the entire ocean space, that is recognizing that the ocean is not just a resource, it's a shared global commons that sustains life. And some of the aspects you can see that distributive justice, procedural justice, and recognitional justice. So how do we ensure fairness in who benefits from the ocean, and who bears the cost of the degradation, and who gets to decide what would be the future? It brings together the environmental protection, human rights, and global responsibility. And it reminds us that protecting the ocean is not only an ecological duty, it is also a justice imperative. Now, when we can see that we talk about equity and justice, one of the key structural challenges lies is how decisions are taken. So very often decision making around environmental and ocean governance is very centralized, meaning the few institutions and few level of governments or a limited set of actors decide what will happen. This creates a big gap. And a lot of international investors and donors are working in Bangladesh. So finally, there is a consequence like the marginalization, exclusion of the local users, of the local fishers, of the local small scale resource users. So now, based on these resources, we also explore how different people actually think about this development and the transformation. So their first concern is about the injustice for growth. That means that the development or transformation, some groups may feel that they're left behind. Another perspective is that development within bounds, it means that it should remain within ecological and social limits. And the third one is the just compensation. This reflects the expectation that if people or communities bear the cost of environmental or developmental change, that should be fairly compensated. And finally, the safety. That safety means that safety of the livelihood, ecosystem, and future well-being. So their point of concern is that to protect their local interests, their concerns related to their displacement, disposition, or their impact on their health or livelihood damages. And they have some recommendation for the risk management, benefit sharing, and just transformation. So if we consider the pathways for just transformation, I brought about a theory of interactive governance in this whole system. And in the first order, you can see that which actually talks about actions and interactions. So the inequity and injustice directly on the ground. And the institutions and rules are in the second order. So here we see that the policies, governance systems, and implementation tool often struggle to fully ensure the fairness and justice, even when the intention is there. So in the third order, which is the meta order, that talks about the norms and principles. And we see that something broader and more structural, and sometimes the image of the transformation is inequitable or inconsistent in sometimes. So it brings the ideas about there's a gap between the humanities and environmental social transformation studies or research. So recognizing and mapping is not only enough, it needs some action-based research or some action. And networking for the environmental injustice or justice and the humanities are the crucial point to discuss about. So there are some hope sports like BIMRAD, like the biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction framework. It seems that it brought some idea about the closing the gap between this treaty addresses 95 of the ocean's volume previously, which was unregulated, and there are some equity provisions as well. So it promotes social justice through financing, capacity building, and equitable access of sharing some marine genetic resources. And it brought the global south interest in center like common heritage of humankind. So it's about protection of marine bios, marine protected areas, sharing resources, environmental impact assessment, even sometimes social impact assessments, capacity building, and new governance and finding. I brought an idea about the justice formation pathways like this, that knowledge, policy, and action in the center. So there might be a body or entity like community of practice or environmental governance, and there might be a cell of environmental justice cell like blue economy cell, or there should be some actions like initiating program with environmental justice cell and community of practice of environmental governance. So community of practice can see that stakeholders who share their success and failure experiences in a forum. They track the progress in different environmental initiatives, guided by some agreed code of conduct, and they organize dialogue, track reports, and recommends to fill the existing knowledge gaps. Environmental justice cell, the key aspects of policy development appraisal should be driven by this cell, and enhancing ocean and coastal-based renewable energy sectors, which is eco-friendly, and ensuring food security and stable protein for the communities, and to decentralize the environmental governance. So they can change the mindset of stakeholders sometimes in a positive way. Resource enabling environment creating by this agency, that means environmental justice cell, and facilitating evidence-informed policy and practice changes, and sometimes funding to these small initiatives. And if we go to my final slide about just transformation, it talks about, let me bring all the things together, that Bangladesh blue transformation must move beyond growth-focused development only, and it should be inclusive, justice-driven model that ensures justice, equity, sustainability, and meaningful participation of all the stakeholders at its core. This means the transformation is not about only economic expansion or resource use, it's about how fairly the benefits are shared. And we should follow the environmental, social, and governance principle that can be aligned with all the initiatives. These principles provide a structured way to ensure that development is not only efficient, but also responsible and accountable. But ultimately, frameworks alone are not enough, actually. We need some collaborative actions between governments, researchers, communities, and international partners. The future of Bangladesh's blue transformation depends on this collective commitment. And to grow justly, sustainably, and inclusively. Thank you very much. I'll welcome any questions or comments. Thank you.
So thank you, Dr. Jewel, for your excellent presentation. We really appreciate the valuable insights you just shared. Actually, this is the real scenario of what is happening in Bangladesh. We always talk about sustainability, but we never consider the justice, the equity, and meaningful participation of the coastal community, who are actually the real dealer of the ocean. So thank you so much. Now I'm going for the next, our panelist. This is AKM Rafiqul Islam. Rafiqul Islam is a seasoned environmental professional with over 30 years of experience in environmental conservation and ecosystem management. He currently serves as director at the Department of Environment under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change under the Government of Bangladesh. Throughout his distinguished career, he has key positions as Director of the Rangpur and Sylhet Divisional Offices, Deputy Director at the Department of Environment Headquarters and Cox's Bazar District's Office, Ecologically Critical Area Managed Officer, and as Director of Chattogram Division Office. His work has focused on wetland restoration, biodiversity conservation, safeguarding river and floodplain ecosystems, and integrating environmental considerations into policy development. He is also affiliated with national and global communities dedicated to the conservation of ecosystem, wetland, biodiversity, and natural heritage. So today's presentation is titled Coastal Ecological Critical Area Management. The floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. And very good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much for inviting me. Actually, I was not supposed to be with you today. My Additional Director General, Mr. Ziaul Haq, he supposed to be here today. He requested me, and then I have communication with Miss Tuli, and she has a very good communication with me. And I just prepared some text for you. That is about coastal and I can say coastal and marine ecologically critical area management of Bangladesh. If you allow me, I want to share my small presentation. Can I?
Sure, sir.
Yes,
You can share, sir.
I want to close my video, and then is that okay? Can you see the presentation?
No, sir. Not yet, sir.
I have to try. Share. Yes. Maybe now it is okay.
Yes, now it's okay, sir. You can continue, sir.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. It is about coastal and marine ecologically critical areas of Bangladesh. As you know, the Department of Environment is the technical arms of the government as a regulatory body to enforce Bangladesh Environment Conservation Act 1995. And we have other major act also, Bangladesh Biological Diversity Act 2017, and some other act, rules, policy, and many plans. So we can know about the environment like this. We have vision to build a healthy and beautiful Bangladesh, and we have way forward. We have pathway to be there to ensure a healthy, beautiful, and clean environment for the present and future generation. And we all, the government, non-government organizations, and whole society. We are very much about this environmental conservation to have a very good present and future generation. See, in 1992. And our major act is Bangladesh Environment Conservation Act 1995. We have many rules under this framework act, very strong act, like Environment Conservation Rules 2023. It was 97, this same rules. It is newly promulgated rules with updating, and then about today's talking, we have critical area management rules 2016, and we have other major act, Bangladesh Biological Diversity Act 2017, and mandate of environmental management, especially the ecosystem conservation and restoration. We have mandated from our supreme law, the Constitution. And in the Constitution, there is Article 18A. I think all we know about the Article 18A. It is about our the fundamental state policy. One of fundamental state policy is protection and improvement of environment and biodiversity. Under this policy, it is elaborated like this: the state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment and preserve and safeguard the natural resources, biodiversity, wetlands, forests, and wildlife for the present and future. And then we mandated from on ecologically critical areas. I have to be very focused. In the Bangladesh Environment Conservation Act 1995, there is section 5 about management of ecologically critical areas. In brief, I want to say ECA, eco area. If any ecosystem, whether it is small or big, if it is in a critical condition like degraded or destroyed, then government can declare this ecosystem as an ecological critical area. It is in the Bangladesh Environment Conservation Act 1995. And I should be very brief actually. There are many subsections also. And then we have ecologically critical area management rules. In the rules, it is stated how to designate the ecologically critical area. It is very elaborated in that rules. So in the meantime, so far we have declared 13 ecologically critical areas from 1999 to 2015. So this is the list actually, and today I want to focus on Sundarban ECA. It is actually 10-kilometer periphery, mainly land-bound periphery and coastal periphery of the Sundarban Reserve Forest. And then Cox's Bazar Teknaf Sea Beach is also an ECA, and St. Martin Island, and then Shonadi Island. Other ecologically critical areas are actually inland ecosystem. These 4 I can just to share some maps and photos in front of you. I can go with the national map. to show the ecologically critical area. Can you identify the coastal and marine ecologically critical area at the bottom of the map, like Sundarban ECA, the reddish marked area, and then Shunadi Island ECA in Cox's Bazar district, Cox's Bazar Teknaf Peninsula or Cox's Bazar Teknaf Sea Beach, and then St. Martin Island. So importance of the ECS, we should know. All these ECS, whether it is coastal and marine or inland or land inside the country, it is rich in natural resources and biodiversity. And most of the ECS are biodiversity rich wetland, including the coastal, that is also coastal wetlands, and get the continuous support ecosystem services on the ECS. We find the important climatic stabilization from this ecosystem. We find freshwater swamp and mangrove forest, habitat of migratory birds, whether it is in Haor wetlands or in coastal area. We have coral colony, actually not reef, in around St. Martin Island. The coastal area, most of the coastal area of Bangladesh is nesting ground of marine turtles, proud actually biodiversity. Rocky intertidal zone in Cox's Bazar and St. Martin Islands, sand dunes, where they are like Sunadi Island, Cox's Bazar Teknaf Sea Beach and St. Martin. And of course, we have longest sea beach. And all these ECS are ecotourism destinations actually, though no ecotourism is actually ongoing there. All that tourism are very unsustainable over there. So this is the map of Sundarban ECA. Just 10-kilometer periphery of the Sundarban, mostly the land-bound area. We can see some photographs of this Sundarban ECA. I mean the 10-kilometer periphery of the Sundarban Reserve Forest. This is very recent photo, the village, and then the inside 10-kilometer periphery like rivers and mangrove ecosystem. It is not the Sundarban actually, this is periphery. And then this type of establishment is growing up, like this is a resort, and it is very, very devastating for the ecosystem of the area. And this is power plant. Should I mention the name of this power plant? It is Rampar Power Plant inside ecologically critical area or very close to ecologically critical area actually. And then Shonadi Island is here. We have, this is a barrier island of Maheshkhali and the attached part of Cox's Bazar. This is also eminent for sand dunes, mangrove forest, and very, very good wetland ecosystem also, coastal wetland ecosystem. And this is Shonadi Island. The landscape of Shonadi Island is very beautiful. It is, this photo is taken by me in 2008, maybe 2008. Now it is not like this. This is also this is photo from 2010. It was like little hillock. It is actually sand dune. This is mangrove of Shonadi Island. It is also degraded now by unsustainable activity was doing there over there for tourism. It is stopped actually, fortunately. This mangrove, many mangrove area destroyed actually. We are trying to restore this Shonadi again. And this is the migratory birds. These birds are bar-headed goose. These birds are the largest birds who fly with most height, even over the Everest also. How many minutes I have taken already? Can you?
Already past 10 minutes, which
Okay.
allocated for you.
I'll be very fast actually. This is actually biological monitoring. And then Cox's Bazar Technaf sea base, beautiful sea base. Earlier it was, you cannot find this type of scenario now because of the, I should say, because of very easy access through the Marine Drive. You cannot find this also. You cannot find this also. It is destroying this after Inani, the Shilkhali area. Then St. Martin Island, I will be very quickly, I should go. This is sand dune of St. Martin Island, the ecotone of St. Martin Island, the marine area, then the rocky intertidal zone, then sand dune, then the Kea plantation, then the island area like this. This is sea cucumber, the clean water indicator. Marine turtle, they lay eggs here. We have a program of conservation of marine turtle in St. Martin, Sonadia, and Cox's Bazar Technaf sea base. It is ongoing. This is the facility of conserving marine turtle. This is the procedure. This system is ongoing. And then this type of activity, community engaged activity, and I have ECA management governance also. We have different layers: ECA management committee, national ECA committee, district ECA committee, Upozila ECA committee, union ECA coordination committee, and then village conservation group with villagers, so in and around people who live in and around ecologically critical area. We have blue economy plan with 8 activity actually in our blue economy plan. Actually, most of those are the ecosystem conservation, restoration, and enforcement of environmental act and rules. And we have other tools, NOSCOP, National Oil and Chemical Spill Contingency Plan, to protect the spillage or spillage of oil or chemical waterways, especially the coastal and marine waterways. So I should stop here. Thank you very much to allow me a few minutes behind my allocated time. Thank you very much. If you want to know more about, I can with you, and beyond this meeting, I will be with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Islam sir, for that insightful and thought-provoking presentation. We are very sorry and we are honored having your valuable time regarding the critical critical area management. So we have got a very intensive options and opportunities and knowledge through you. So we are really grateful to you for your nice presentation, sir.
Thank you very much.
Dear audience, there will be a question answer session. So that time you can ask the experts about your questions, queries, or anything you want to share. So we are not going now for the question and answer session. There will be a separate session for question and answer. Thank you. Now it's time for Soumitra Choudhury. Mr. Soumitra Choudhury is a scientific officer at the Biological Oceanography Division of the Bangladesh Oceanographic Research Institute. He holds both BSc and MSc degree in Marine Science and Oceanography from the University of Chittagong. His research interests encompass biological oceanography, marine ecology, microplastic pollution, marine biotechnology, and blue economy innovations. Mr. Choudhury participated in the 43rd Indian Scientific Expedition to Antarctica, where he conducted research on ocean acidification and microplastic pollution in Antarctic ecosystem. He has also contributed to several government and international research initiatives focusing on marine ecosystems, fisheries resource, environmental pollution, and also coastal sustainability. His today's presentation is on marine ecosystem health as the foundation of Bangladesh's blue economy, linking ocean science to sustainable development goals, that is SDG. Dear Soumitra Choudhury, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Ritika, for your gracious introduction. I think you can see my slide and also hear me as well.
Yes, sir. Your slides is visible, sir.
Okay, so respected Director General of BIMRAD, Professor Dr. Jewel Das, one of my respected mentors, distinguished academicians, fellow researchers, scientists, students, and all participants joining today. It is a privilege and honor to be here on the occasion of World Environment Day. So today I would like to discuss a topic that sits at the intersection of science, sustainability, and national development. Marine ecosystem health as the foundation of Bangladesh blue economy, linking ocean science to sustainable development goals. So when we talk about the blue economy, we often think about fisheries, shipping, ports, tourism, offshore energies, etc. But I would like to begin with a simple question. Can there be a successful blue economy without a healthy ocean? And my straight answer is no, because every economic activity that depends on the ocean ultimately depends on the health of marine ecosystems. So over the next few minutes, I will briefly discuss the evolution of the ocean economy and how and why it became blue economy, Bangladesh blue economy journey, why ecosystem health matters, what threats we are facing, how ocean science can guide sustainable management, and finally, how the Bangladesh Oceanographic Research Institute is contributing to sustainable blue economy. Human civilization has always been connected to the ocean and dependent from the ancient time. For thousands of years, oceans served as routes for transportation, trade, food, and cultural exchange. During the age of exploration and later the Industrial Revolution, oceans became major drivers of the economic growth and global commerce. However, in the 21st century, our perspective has evolved. Today, we recognize that economic growth cannot be sustained if the ecosystem not supporting it, it will be degraded. This realization gave rise to the concept of the blue economy, an approach that seeks economic development while maintaining ocean health. I'm repeating again, economic development with sustainability is the blue economy. So Bangladesh blue economy journey shows remarkable transformation. Before 2012, its ocean potential was limited to the traditional fishing and shipping. The game changer came into 2012-2014 with maritime boundary settlements, expanding Bangladesh sea territory by over 118,000 square kilometer, an area larger than the country itself. Since then, Bangladesh has hosted its first Blue Economy workshop in 2014, established a dedicated Blue Economy cell, integrated ocean priorities into its 2041 vision and Delta Plan 2100. The blue economy is much broader than the fisheries alone. According to Hussain et al., Bangladesh has identified numerous sectors, including fisheries and aquaculture, marine biotechnology, tourism and shipping, renewable energy, marine spatial planning, and so and so. So among these sectors, 6 key sectors playing a vital role in national development. So fisheries and aquaculture, the backbone of food security and livelihoods for millions. Tourism, untapped potential in ecotourism along our pristine coast and island, and it is contributing the most. Shipbuilding, a rising industry gaining global recognition. Maritime transport, the lifeblood of trade, handling 90% of our imports and exports. Renewable energy, harnessing offshore the most valuable asset in Bangladesh blue economy. Is it port, fish, tourism, gas, shipping? I must say none of this. The most valuable asset is a healthy marine ecosystem. So the ecosystem, the hidden engine of the blue economy, Think about a fishery. Fish do not appear magically in the ocean. They depend on plankton. Plankton depend on nutrients. Nutrients are recycled by microorganisms. Fish also need spawning grounds, nursery habitats, and healthy food wheels. Similarly, tourism depends on beautiful beaches, coral reefs, marine wildlife, and clean coastal environments. Biotechnology depends on biodiversity. So even climate resilience depends on healthy mangroves, seagrass beds, and coral ecosystems. In many ways, marine ecosystems are the hidden infrastructure of the blue economy. So it matters because it directly affects human well-being. Millions of people depend on marine resources for food, income, and livelihoods. Healthy ecosystem supports fisheries, aquaculture, tourism, and coastal protection. Biodiversity also enhances ecosystem resilience, allowing ecosystem to better withstand environmental change. Simply, I can say healthy ecosystems support healthy economies. But unfortunately, marine ecosystem face increasing pressure. Overfishing, pollution, climate change, habitat destruction, sedimentation, and invasive species are all affecting ecosystem health. These traits rarely act alone. Instead, they interact and compound one another, reducing ecosystem resilience and weakening the services that ecosystem provide. This is one of the greatest challenges facing sustainable blue economic development. So now we arrive at what I consider one of the most important slides in this presentation, impacts on the blue economy. This slide directly addresses that issue. So every ecosystem impact eventually become an economic impact. When fish stock declines, fisheries revenues decline. When water quality deteriorates, aquaculture productivity declines. So nature always keeps the accounts. Sometimes we do not see the bill immediately. Ignoring ecosystem resilience is far more expensive. For example, restoring damaged coral ecosystem can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars per hectare. Protecting them is significantly cheaper. Similarly, restoring degraded habitats often requires years or even decades of effort. Yet, preventive management cost only a fraction of restoration. Bangladesh already experiences significant economic losses from climate-related disaster. Also, ecosystem decline directly undermines SDG 14, 2, 13, and 1 simultaneously. So how do we address these challenges? The answer begins with science. Ocean science helps us understanding ecosystem dynamics, assess fish stock, monitor environmental change, and guide management decisions. As scientists often say, you cannot manage what you do not measure. So science transformation uncertainly into informed decision making and provides the evidence needed to be sustainable ocean governance. Just as doctors use vital signs to assess human health, scientists use indicators to assess ecosystem health. These indicators include physical factors such as temperature, salinity, chemical factors such as DO and nutrients, and biological indicators such as plankton abundance, biodiversity, and species composition. Together, these indicators provide early warning signals of environmental change and help guide management interventions. So what should Bangladesh do moving forward? I believe there were several priority actions. First, we need to strong protection of critical habitats like MPA. Second, we need ecosystem-based fisheries management. Rather than focusing on individual species, we should manage entire ecosystem and food webs. Third, reducing land-based pollution must become a national priority. Fourth, habitat restoration efforts should be expanded. And fifth, we need stronger ocean observation and monitoring system. The better we understand our ocean, the better we can manage it. And finally, blue economy governance must remain science-driven. Policy should be informed by evidence rather than short-time pressures, because ultimately sustainable development is not achieved through economic growth alone. So far we have discussed why ecosystem health matters, what threats we face, and what actions are needed. Now I would like to bring the discussion closer to home and share some examples of how the biological oceanography division of BORI is contributing to Bangladesh blue economy. One of our major focus area is seaweed research. We have documented more than 145 plus seaweed species, extracted commercially important hydrocolloids, developed cultivation technologies, and established tissue culture techniques. We are studying jellyfish diversity, exploring their potential for collagen, gelatin, and biomaterial production. We're also developing native polyculture technology to support sustainable aquaculture. In addition, we are exploring marine biotechnology through biotic compounds, bioplastics, and biofertilizers derived from marine organisms. These activities demonstrate how biodiversity can contribute directly to innovation and economic development. While blue economy opportunity are important, they can only be sustained if we still remain healthy. I need 1 minute more, please. So this is why Boris' work extends beyond resource utilization and into ecosystem conservation and management. Our work includes biodiversity-based study on inflated turtle conservation, coral restoration at St. Martin's Islands, marine microbe research, and long-term ecosystem monitoring. So as I conclude, I would like to leave you with one simple message. The future of Bangladesh blue economy will not be determined by how much we extract it from the ocean. It will be determined by how well we understand it, protect it, restore it, and wisely utilize it. Healthy ecosystem supports resilient communities support sustainable economies, and sustainable economies support a prosperous future for Bangladesh. Protecting our ocean is therefore not merely an environmental responsibility, it is an investment in our nation future. So thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you.
So thank you, Mr. Chaudhary, for your detailed presentation. And through your presentation, we came to know about how the ecosystem is the hidden engine for the blue economy. So thank you so much. We'll go for the question and answer session at the end of this speaker session. We'll go for a question answer. I have already seen so many questions are coming, but let's wait for the proper time. So now I would like to invite Shahriar Koshnur Prince. Shahriar Koshnur Prince, a dedicated professional in oceanography and sustainable development, embarked on his journey at the Bangladesh Institute of Maritime Research and Development in April 2024. Prior to his role at BIMRAD, he refined his skills at the University of Dhaka, where he earned both his Bachelor of Science and Masters of Science degrees in oceanography. His outstanding academic performance was recognized with the prestigious Dean's Award from the Faculty of Earth and Environmental Science. Throughout his academic career, he has delved into various facets of oceanography, including physical, chemical, and geological aspects, as well as marine spatial planning. He has actively contributed to projects aimed at understanding ocean dynamics and conserving marine ecosystems, demonstrating a keen interest in sustainable practices. He is deeply committed to leveraging his expertise to drive positive change in Bangladesh's blue economy sectors, working tirelessly toward the sustainable development of marine resource for the country's prosperity and well-being. So today, Prince is going to present the lecture on marine pollution in the Bay of Bengal, scientific evidence, emerging risk and governance priorities for Bangladesh. So Prince, the floor is for you.
Thank you so much. First, let me share the screen. Is my slides visible clearly?
Yes, dear Prince, your slides are visible.
Thank you so much. Dear sir and colleagues, respected speakers and participants, Assalamu alaikum and very good morning. Today, the topic of my lecture is about the marine pollution. The structure of my presentation is I will talk about the sources and the pollution pathways. I will talk very briefly about some evidence of the contamination in the coastal areas, the ecological and blue economy impacts in very brief, and also about the governance and monitoring gaps and probable priority actions and way forward for Bangladesh. Why marine pollution matters for Bangladesh actually? Our our respected speakers, previous speakers, including Professor Sir and the director from the Department of Environment, and also Soumitra Bhai from Bori, already highlights the importance to understand the marine pollution, because of the sole reason for the degradation of the environment is due to the marine pollution in our coastal area. The Bay of Bengal supports fisheries, biodiversity, ports infrastructure, tourism, and coastal livelihoods. Pollution threatens seafood safety, ecosystem restoration, and maritime economic growth. Also, for Bangladesh, marine pollution is linked to our Sustainable Development Goal 14 and 13 and sustainable ocean governance. The risks directly affect the food security and the fisheries sector, our ecosystem resilience, ports and blue economy, and more importantly, public health. So this is a few glimpses of the reality of marine pollution in our coastal area. So what is the actual pollution pathways? It starts in the land, actually. There are municipal waste, untreated sewage, industrial effluents, agricultural runoff, ship breaking, pollution, and pollution due to the port activities, oil and grease, and litter from the tourism sector. The sources are the rivers, stormwater drains, canals, estuaries, tides, monsoon runoff, and coastal currents, the tidal currents. The main receptors are the fish community, sediments, beaches, mangroves, coral associated habitats like our St. Martin Island, and especially the coastal people and the people of the country as seafood consumers. The governance challenge lies in the inland sources create marine consequences. So there are connection with the land pollution and marine pollution. This is a very simple infograph to understand the pollution pathways, how it connects from land to the sea. For some evidence of contamination in regards to the plastics and microplastics, in St. Martin Island fish, microplastic occurs in 100% of examined fish species. Like the fish species are 6 common tropical fishes, and the mean abundance was ranged from around 5 to 10 microplastics in the gastrointestinal tract of fishes. And near the Sitakundu shipbreaking area, the mean microplastic concentration was very high, like 74 to 90 items per kg in sediment and around 230 items per meter cube in water. The dominant forms were the fibers, and common polymers for the microplastics were polypropylene, polyethylene, and polystyrene, and etc. So the risk is even the microplastics examined in the guts, fish guts, but also microplastics are found in the fish muscles also. And also the microplastic polymer hazard index values fell in danger category in most of the studies. So basically the microplastics are everywhere in water, in sediment, and especially the seafood. Another concerning thing is the polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon, pH, mercury, and the heavy metal contamination. The pHs is found in the northern Bay of Bengal seafood, around like 79 to 1000. It depends on the different samples, nanogram per gram weight. Also, the mercury concentration was also found. The source identified mixed combustion, petroleum pollution, and industrial activities as major contributors. In the offshore fish, the metal concentration are as follows from high to low, like iron, strontium, zinc, copper, selenium, chromium, cobalt, rubidium, nickel, lead, and obviously mercury and arsenic. In the earlier evidence from seawater and sediment showed heavy metal signatures, including nickel enrichment in sediment and relatively elevated cadmium, iron, lead, and copper in seawater. Although the concentrations are not as per the threshold for the danger level in the water and sediment, but it highly vulnerable for our ecosystem due to the bioaccumulation and biomagnification. This is another infographic about the chemical pollution. Chemical pollutants in the Bay of Bengal have multiple sources, and it actually requires source-specific monitoring and control. We'll talk more about that later in later slides. So what is the ecological and blue economy impacts? My previous speaker already clarified everything in this part. The ecological impacts are the bioaccumulation, sediment contamination, benthic stress, habitat degradation, and reduced ecosystem resilience. Blue economy impacts regarding seafood safety concerns, fisheries productivity risk as fish stocks decline due to the marine pollution, beach and tourism degradation, port and maritime compliance pressure. For monitoring side, we have to identify the bioindicators like the benthic foraminifera can indicate pollution stress linked to organic carbon and trace metals. Restoration will be less effective if pollution inputs continue unchecked. In case of the governance and monitoring gaps, the current gaps are the fragmented monitoring, limited long-term data sets, weak source-specific tracking, and insufficient river-to-sea waste control. High-risk sectors need targeted compliance, especially the shipbreaking sectors, our ports, industrial outfalls, tourism hotspots, and urban drainage systems. It is needed for an integrated national framework for microplastic metals, pH, mercury, nutrients, oil residues, and biological indicators. The legal direction can be a land-based Marine Pollution Control Act or equivalent integrated framework. We have evidence, but evidence must be converted into monitoring, enforcement, and operational responsibility. So the priority actions for Bangladesh can be establish a national marine pollution monitoring framework, implement river-to-sea waste interception and source control. This is very important. And also strengthen shipbreaking and port environmental compliance. Develop seafood safety surveillance for key commercial species of fish and other mollusks and seafood species. Build a science policy platform linking different organizations and ministry to work collaboratively. In strengthen regional Bay of Bengal cooperation on transboundary pollution monitoring and response. So the integrated marine pollution response framework can be like this. There has to be a national monitoring, which is need to be collaborative, and we have to control the source and we have to control the land and water connection. We have to enforce the law which are already existing, and we have to ensure the compliance from the industries and shipbreaking sectors. We have to monitor our food. We need seafood safety surveillance, and we need at the end science and policy coordination. The policy makers should be able to have data and information to make their decisions correctly from the scientists. A clean Bay of Bengal is essential for Bangladesh's blue economy, seafood security, ecosystem restoration, and climate resilience maritime future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Prince. Thank you so much for your evidence-based presentation. What we really need to address at any cost. And you also mentioned that fragmented monitoring will not work at this moment. We need to go for the integrated management options. Thank you, Prince. Now it's time for Mr. Mehdi Hassan. MD Mehdi Hassan is an oceanography researcher with expertise in physical oceanography, climate science, hydrological modeling, GIS, and marine environmental research. He earned both his BSc and MSc in oceanography from the University of Chittagong, securing first in both degrees, and was nominated for the prestigious Prime Minister Gold Medal Award 2021. His research covers hydrological and sediment transport analysis, nutrient dynamics, land use, and land cover change assessment, coastal sustainability, and marine environmental studies. His current interests include Bay of Bengal marine climate dynamics, marine heat waves, and the ocean carbon cycle, and also the eutrophication, harmful algal bloom, mangrove-based ecotourism, and dead zone research. So today, Mr. MD Mehdi Hassan is going to present on the Bay of Bengal as Bangladesh's climate engine. Sir, the floor is yours.
Am I audible?
You are audible, sir. Please.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Thanks, Afifat Khanum, for giving me the floor. Good morning to everyone. I'm very thrilled to have the opportunity to renowned scholars in my field. In the next 10 minutes, I want to show you why the Bay of Bengal is one of the most consequential bodies of water on Earth, not just for Bangladesh, but for our understanding of how oceans drive climate, disasters, and human survival. Bangladesh sits at the apex of the Bay of Bengal's funnel with 710 kilometers of coastline. Its 165,000 kilometers square of territory is a delta built entirely by the Ganges-Brahmaputra-Meghna system. Bangladesh, the largest deltaic land between the Himalayas to the north and the Bay of Bengal to the south, which we call home. As climatology of this region is defined by this two unique boundary, there is no shortage of uniqueness. Since weather and climate are essentially driven by the transportation of water vapor, the Bay of Bengal sits firmly in the pilot seat, manipulating the weather patterns of this entire region. While extreme events like nor'easters, cold waves, and heat waves are primarily land-based, seasonal phenomena less influenced by large-scale dynamic drivers, it is the variability of rainfall and tropical cyclones that act as the true shapers of a regional climatology and local livelihoods. This chart shows the seasonal sea surface temperature cycle for both basins on the same latitude band. Both basins receive the same solar radiation, as you can see, and the same monsoon winds, yet the Bay of Bengal runs systematically warmer, especially in summer when the Arabian Sea cools via upwelling. The second highest SST, we can see that only the Persian Gulf exceeds Bay of Bengal temperatures, but the Persian Gulf is climatically irrelevant at large scales. The Bay of Bengal's heat is consequential. It fits the monsoon and power cyclones. The reason the Bay of Bengal stays warm while the Arabian Sea cools is rooted in one word, and that is, I can say, fresh water. This slide explains the physical mechanism behind everything else in this presentation. Both the Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea share the same latitude and monsoon conditions. However, due to negligible freshwater discharge, the Arabian Sea lacks stratification and features a lower SST, sea surface temperature. Similarly, the Amazon plain receives extreme freshwater discharge and more solar energy due to its equatorial position, but strong winds and powerful currents cause intense mixing that disrupts stratification keeping its salinity lower than Bay of Bengal's. In the case of the Bay of Bengal, the conditions for freshwater stratification are perfectly met and sheltered from destructive currents, making it one of the world's warmest, most stable sea surfaces. The Bay of Bengal is the primary moisture source for one of the world's most intense rainfall systems. The South Asian monsoon, we can say. Pre-monsoon solar radiation intensely heats the bay's stratified surface, driving sea surface temperatures past critical thresholds. This extreme thermal energy sparks rapid evaporation and severe instability, priming a massive moisture reservoir for inland transport. While the Somali jet carries Arabian Sea moisture across India, the Bay of Bengal's localized moisture flux is the critical driver for the Northeast. The bay generates its own high-volume, humid, northward air streams that serve as the primary source of sustained rainfall targeting Bangladesh. Catastrophic flooding in Bangladesh is triggered when this moisture-laden marine flow collides with the steep walls of the Meghalaya Plateau. Forced upward, the air undergoes severe oceanographic enhancement, unleashing torrential upstream downpours that immediately cascade into low-lying plains. The BOB is not passively sitting there. It is actively manufacturing the water vapor that determines whether Bangladesh has food security or flood disaster in any given year. These three teleconnections modes operates on different time scales. You can see here, and so the El Nino Southern Oscillation, which time scales is interannual, 2 to 7 years. Indian Ocean Dipole, annual cycle with internal variability, and Maiden-Julian Oscillation, which is about 40 to 60 days. Their interaction is what makes seasonal forecasting over Bangladesh so challenging and so critical. I want to share some key example here. In 2019, saw a positive IOD co-occurring with a weekly positive ENSO. The combined signal drove anomalous rainfall patterns. The IPCC Year 6 notes that the IOD is projected to intensify under climate change. And here I want to share MGO point, Maiden-Julian Oscillation, Cyclone Amphan in 2020. The strongest Bay of Bengal cyclone on record at the time underwent rapid intensification during a period when an active MJO phase has over the Bay of Bengal. MJO essentially opened the door. Let's have an overview of the integrated scenario. Here you can visualize a figure connecting atmospheric oscillations that drive the climatology of Bay of Bengal and adjacent regions. And speaking of cyclones, let's now look at why the Bay of Bengal is such an efficient cyclone factory. Five ingredients work together here. The Bay of Bengal's sea surface temperature remain consistently above the 28 degrees Celsius threshold required to fuel tropical cyclones, maybe some less. This persistent thermal energy ensures the basin acts as a continuous, highly charged reservoir ready to sustain storm development year-round. The barrier layer effect, unlike other basins where a passing cyclone triggers cold upwelling that weakens the storm, the bay's thick, freshwater-driven barrier layer prevents deep mixing. This traps warm water at the surface, allowing cyclones to continuously draw heat and rapidly intensify. While most basins have only one peak storm season, the bay features two distinct cyclonic windows. This occurs during the pre-monsoon, April to May, and post-monsoon, October to December. separated by the high wind shear of the summer monsoon. The maiden Julian oscillation acts as a powerful atmospheric amplification mechanism over the Indian Ocean. When it's active, convective phase aligns with the bay, it dramatically enhances local moisture and upward motion to trigger rapid cyclone genesis. The triangular funnel-like geography of the northern bay leaves northward tracking cyclones with nowhere to escape. Any storm forming in the central bay is compressed and funneled directly toward Bangladesh or the Odisha Bengal coast, maximizing a storm surge destruction. A Bay of Bengal cyclone that would be category 2 elsewhere can rapidly intensify to category 4 equivalent because the ocean never cools beneath it. And this is where physical oceanography and geography combine to create the world's deadliest storm surge environment. Despite covering only 0.6% of the global ocean surface, the Bay of Bengal of all tropical cyclones worldwide. Remarkably, due to its unique shallow bathymetry and funnel-like geometry, this relatively small basin accounts for more than 80% of global cyclone-related fatalities. The deadliest tropical cyclone in recorded history occurred here on November 12, 1970, when the catastrophic Bhola cyclone claimed an estimated 3 to 5 lakh lives, primarily due to a devastating 10-meter storm surge. The trend data you can see here tells a nuanced but alarming story. According to a study of Webster et al. 2005, a landmark paper on global cyclone intensified trends, give us a glimpse where it shows total cyclone count is not increasing, may even be slightly decreasing. This is consistent with global findings. The proportion of high intensity, category 4 to 5 equivalent, storms is rising. This is the dangerous trend. Most deadly cyclones underwent rapid intensification before landfall, giving coastal communities less warning time. Amphan went from tropical storm to super cyclone in roughly 18 hours, just 18 hours. Two often overlooked aspects of Bay of Bengal science that deserve attention, audience like you. One is Bengal fan, and another one is limited upwelling. Bengal fan is a profound point. The Bay of Bengal has not just driven climate for Bangladesh. Through the Bengal fan carbon burial mechanism, it has been a geological climate actor for tens of billions of years. The Himalayan orogeny, GBM erosion, Bengal fan burial loop is one of the major long-term carbon sinks that contributed to Cenozoic cooling. This is the big picture that most audience members will not have considered, I think. Limited upwelling, this is the mechanistic thread that runs through the whole presentation. Fresh water, then barrier layer, then no upwelling. Warm SST, cyclone intensification, storm surge, and Bangladesh mortality. The Bay of Bengal's declines is ultimately traceable to the Himalayan rivers, dumping fresh water into a semi-enclosed basin. Geography is fate. Key climate change points for this, I can say intensified cyclones, as you can see, sea level rise, monsoon extremes, and Indian Ocean dipole intensification. The Bay of Bengal is 0.6% of the world ocean. I've already pointed that. It is 100% of Bangladesh's climate story. Understanding it better, its barrier layer dynamics, its teleconnection responses, its rapid intensification potential is not an academic exercise. It is a humanitarian imperative. Thank you. That's all I have about my presentation today. Thank you. Thank you all for your patience.
So thank you, MB Hassan, for your excellent presentation on how Bay of Bengal is a climate engine for Bangladesh. Your contribution adds significant value to our webinar discussion. Thank you. So we are now over and for the speaker session, and we'll move forward. Before that, I would like to thank all the participants and speakers for this nice session. I'd like to take a moment to summarize the key takeaways from today's webinar. So we have heard from our distinguished speakers on a wide range of critical points, just transformations to sustainability, which highlighting the pathways for integrating equity, science, and policy in marine and coastal development. He also mentioned that from user to resource, we have to make equity in every aspect. Otherwise, any policy, rules, regulations will not be applicable or will not be fruitful. Ecosystem restoration and environmental governance, emphasizing the need for effective policies and collaborative actions to restore our marine and coastal environment. Impacts on the blue economy and SDG integration, showing how sustainable ocean management is crucial for economic growth, food security, and meeting global sustainability goals. He also mentioned that we should go for the quality rather than quantity method. Marine pollution, raising awareness on the urgent challenges posed by plastic, chemical, and other pollutants and the strategies for mitigation. From climate adaptation, stressing the importance of resilient infrastructure, informed decision-making, climate risk in Bangladesh maritime zones. Today's discussion clearly underlined that a resilient blue future for Bangladesh is possible through science-based approaches, ecosystem sustainable governance, and collaborative effort among researchers, policymakers, and also the stakeholders. On behalf of BIMRAD, I sincerely thank all our speakers for their valuable insights and all participants for their active engagement. Let us continue to work together towards a sustainable and climate resilient marine environment. So now this is our most awaited question and answer session. So before that, I am going through the rules for the question and answer session. We'll now move into the interactive session that will last for 10 minutes. If you have any question, please raise your hand or write it in the chat box. Kindly mention your name and also the organization name of you. As we are short on time, please keep your questions brief and specific. After asking your question, please mute your microphone. So thank you. You can raise your hand. You can write in the chat box, whatever suitable for you, and also mention the speaker's name to whom you are going to ask the question. Thank you. So we already have a question in the chat box. So I'm going through it. So this question was to AKM Rafiqul Islam sir, that Shonadia is losing its balance and action. So what type of that means what type of management approaches are giving through the Department of Forest? If you answer the question, sir.
Can you repeat? Sorry.
Oh. Okay, sir. He asked that
Yes.
Shonadia mangrove forest is reducing day by day due to deforestation. So how Department of Environment is addressing the issues?
Thank you very much. Actually, Shonadia Island has been declared an ecologically critical area in 1999. After declaration, at that time, it was actually in critical situation. After declaration of ECA, ecologically critical area, then in 2003, we started a restoration program. Shonadia Island, Cox's Bazar Teknaf, and St. Martin Island, including Hakaluki Haor. We engaged whole society, community and government, all the relevant institutions. We formed a village conservation group with people in Sonadia. Sonadia ecologically critical area is formed actually Sonadia Island and some part of Ghoti Bhanga, the adjacent village. I have to say actually, please allow me at least 2 minutes. Then we actually restore whole Sonadia. We evacuate all the degrading elements, degrading things like salt pan, salt field, and the shrimp culture. Actually, the people they captured the whole at that time whole mangrove forest, and they destroy the mangrove forest to produce shrimp. Actually, we actually we enforced our act with all the government relevant institutions. And Sonadia Island was at that time, it was a time of 2008, 7-8. We freed whole Sonadia from all illegal activity. Then Forest Department and from our side, we planted mangrove, we protect mangrove. If we just to protect mangrove, this type of ecosystem, it can be restored. Plus, we planted also. And we protect the sand dune for stabilization, the sand dune with primary plantation like Kea, Nishinda, and then succession process can be run. Then we actually after that starting that activity, Sonadia fully restored with its mangrove and its sand dune ecosystem. After that, I think in the last decade, the whole Sonadia Island transferred to Beza. I should say, for the sake of Sonadia Island, Beza, they have a project of ecotourism facility development. So with that activity, Sonadia actually again became degraded with this ecosystem. Fortunately, recent years, last year, if I am not wrong, government actually stopped the Beza activity in Sonadia Island, and again we started restoration activities. Now an activity is ongoing for restoration of mangrove and sand dune and whole Sonadia ecosystem. It is a project. Project director is working in our ministry, one of ministry's officer, and now they are planning to plan mangrove. They have activity restore sand dune area and marine turtle conservation activities. This is ongoing activities, a small project, but we are preparing a big project actually with ZEF fund, Global Environment Facility Fund, and our technical assistance are given by Food and Agriculture Organization of United Nations. This project document is under preparation actually. So this is our preparation, our village conservation group in Sonadia ecologically critical area. We have 5 village conservation groups. They are also activated. They are also doing with Department of Environment, Forest Department, and our all other relevant departments. So hopefully Sonadia Island, we have lost some ecosystem restored ecosystem. Hopefully, we can again revive, we can again restore the Sonadi Island ecosystem with its mangrove, its sand dune, with its lively and very important marine turtle conservation activity and livelihood activity of the community, people training of environment friendly livelihood training, and many other activities in ongoing project and upcoming project. I think, fortunately, I was engaged with Sonadi Island from 2005 to till today, actually. So this is my, I am proud of that activity with Kaksuz Bazar coastal area. I am engaged. I have a very good affiliation. Thank you very much.
Any question, please, from the audience? Or any comments? You can go for any comments or any queries. The floor is yours now. Okay, we already have passed our that limited time for this webinar. If you have no questions, then we can go for the next session, which is about our concluding remarks and group photography. So I'll wait for 1 minute. If there is no question, then we'll go to the next session. I think everything is very clear, so there is no query, no question at all. So now that means shifting the floor to our research officer, Ashik.
Thank you very much, Vidika Madam, for your excellent moderation and for guiding today's discussion with professionalism and insight. Your efforts greatly contributed to making this webinar engaging, productive, and meaningful. We sincerely appreciate your valuable contribution. Now, I'd like to request all distinguished guests, speakers, participants, and members of the BIMRAD team to kindly turn on their cameras for a few moments so that we may take a group screenshot to commemorate today's webinar. We'll wait for a few seconds while everyone turns on their cameras. Thank you very much for your cooperation. The screenshot has been taken. You may now turn off your cameras if you wish. We appreciate your participation and support in making this event a success. Dear participants, as we approach the conclusion of today's webinar, I would like to invite Commodore Syed Misbauddin Ahmed Sir, the Director General of BIMRAD, to deliver the vote of thanks and summing up. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ashik. Inna alhamdulillah, as-salatu was-salamu ala rasulillah. Let me begin with expressing my heartfelt gratitude to all the presenters. It has been a session of eloquence, charisma, and captivating presentations delivered flawlessly, which was insightful and profoundly inspiring masterclass. At least for me, that kept me spellbound. Once again, thank you so very much, sirs. Salute to you all presenters. we know the theme of today's presentations and why we conducted it today while the day was on the 5th. It was because of two reasons. One, it was just immediately past the Eid holidays, and then it was on a Friday. So we just wanted it to happen. So it's happening today, and it happened really wonderfully. So once again, I extend my very sincere gratitude to all the distinguished speakers for the enlightening presentations and well thought out contributions. Why BIMRAD took this initiative? We took this initiative for reflecting the initiative of BIMRAD to advancing our national awareness, scientific engagement to the sustainable maritime and ocean governance for a resilient and successful and prosperous future for the little speck of land we very lovingly call Bangladesh. So let me very quickly sum up what I learned today from the reputed speakers, starting with Professor Dr. Joel Das. We explored together through his presentations the concept of a just transformation towards sustainability. The professor reminded us that sustainability is not merely about environmental outcomes. Very importantly, it's about fairness, inclusion, and equity. The professor very uniquely explained the different types of equity, which I didn't know before I listened to his presentation. Thank you, sir. Then his transition to blue justice, wonderful. For truly sustainable, that would be when no community is left behind and when the benefits of responsibilities of environmental actions are shared jointly. That brings me to Mr. A.K.M. Rafiqul Islam, and he very splendidly highlighted the importance of ecosystem restoration and environmental governance through the lens of coastal ecologically critical area management in Bangladesh. Very difficult to do than to say, but Mr. Rafiq, his presentation emphasized that protecting our ecosystems requires effective institutions, sound policies, and most importantly, collective responsibility. Mr. Soumitra Chaudhary provided valuable insights into the relationship between marine ecosystems, health, the blue economy, and the sustainable development goals. He reminded us that a prosperous blue economy cannot be built upon degraded ecosystems. Rather, healthy oceans form the very foundation of sustainable economic growth and national development. Especially his suggestions for a priority action for Bangladesh has been wonderful and very interestingly, his visualization of the importance of ocean health. The discussion on maritime pollution by Mr. Shahriar Khosrow Prince drew our attention to one of the most pressing environmental challenges of our time. Pollution, pollution, pollution. Marine pollution, marine pollution, marine pollution respects no boundaries. It impacts extends from our household, the sources, the land, then it extends through the rivers and it ultimately goes down to the seas. Not only affecting the biodiversity, it's actually affecting our livelihoods, our food security, our very well-being, the core of us, our living. Addressing this challenge demands both awareness and action, and particularly Mr. Prince's the suggestions of governance and monitoring gaps. It's very important and vital. And his recommendation also as regards to the integrated marine pollution response framework for Bangladesh Really has been wonderful. Finally, let me talk about Mr. Mehdi Hassan, who highlighted the Bay of Bengal's role as Bangladesh's climate engine. I like the very terminology. Really, it's the climate engine, and we know engine actually propels and takes us forward. His presentation underscored the importance of ocean research in understanding climate variability, strengthening adaptation measures, and building resilience in one of the world's most climate vulnerable nations. Thank you so very much, my dear and very respected presenters. Now I would like to express my sincere appreciation to our moderator, Ms. Afifat Khanum Ritika, for guiding today's session in nautical today's session very uniquely, ensuring a vibrant and engaging the discussion session, though very short, but actually address a very vital key question. I would also like to extend my gratitude and thanks to our organizing team of BIMRAD, whose dedication has made this webinar possible. To all my participants, thank you so very much for your active engagement and kind presence. Your participation, your enthusiastic participation reflects a shared commitment to addressing the environmental challenges that define our generation. This year's World Environment Day theme was inspired by nature for climate for our future. So I think all the presenters have done justice to their respective themes and topics. And we, the audience, we are, to my understanding, have immensely benefited from the discourses today. So in closing, once again, I extend my deepest appreciation to all the speakers, the moderators, the participants, the BIMRAD team for making this webinar a success. We look forward to arrange such seminars in future, such webinar or international webinar, and I look forward to listen from our this wonderful group of speakers and enlighten ourselves as regards to the environment, not only environment, about the ocean, about the blue economy, about the pollution, about the ocean governance, all because of we want to see a prosperous Bangladesh, our very loving motherland. Thank you so very much. May Allah bless us all.
Thank you very much, sir, for your inspiring remarks and thoughtful summary of today's discussions. Distinguished guests, respected speakers, and participants, with this, we have come to the end of today's fascinating webinar on Environment Day 2026. On behalf of BIMRAD, I'd like to express our sincere gratitude to all speakers, our moderator, and every participant for your valuable time, contributions, and active engagement. Today's discussions have reaffirmed the importance of ocean research, ecosystem restoration, environmental governance, and collective action in building climate resilience and ensuring a sustainable blue future for Bangladesh. Let us continue working together towards healthier oceans, resilient ecosystems, and a more sustainable future for generations to come. Thank you all. Stay safe, stay inspired, and have a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.